One of their very own, Miss Kate Spellman, is going to give a speech. Hello. Dean Norman, Dean Davis, Dr. Stevens, Dr. Clayton, faculty, family, friends, and classmates. Thank you so much for celebrating this exciting day with us. This day recognizes all the hard work and dedication that we have exerted to get to this point. For some of us it took 4 years, some 5, and some longer. For me it was 4 years. And 4 years ago I had something funny. Just wait! Oh gosh. 4 years ago I remember starting this crazy and exciting journey. First semester freshman year, about the second day of class, I woke up around 8:54 for my 9 o'clock class. I shot out of bed, brushed my teeth, changed my clothes, grabbed my backpack, and sprinted to the furthest building across campus. As I entered the building and ran up the stairs, I realized that I didn't have my class schedule telling me what room my class was in. I thought it would be a good idea to guess. So I came to the first door. I thought that looked good, so I flung the door open and stepped in the classroom. Well, I guessed wrong. I bolted out of the classroom, rounded the corner, and recognized the door to the classroom that I'd walked through yesterday. One door too late. Since I was late, I hurried in and was relieved to confirm that it was my classroom, and started making my way to my seat. Then I became mortified when I looked to my right and saw the door that I had just bolted in and out of. Apparently in college, a classroom can have 2 doors. It's crazy to see how far I've come and to see how some things just never change. The classrooms with 2 doors have never stopped haunting me. Maybe some of my classmates will remember a few weeks ago when Professor Waynick Rogers was handing out our case studies to everyone. I got skipped and she went out the classroom and was planning on coming around through the other door to hand me a case study. But in my mind, she was going out of the classroom and not coming back. So I thought it would be best to fling my books all over the place and go sprinting after her through the doors. How did I get into college? It's almost unfathomable to think how much we've learned the past few years, to see where we were and where we are. Even a year and a half ago, I remember walking into Godshaw Hall and feeling just like a freshman again, not knowing anything. Everyone knew we didn't know anything either. We had to start out watching a 3-minute video on how to wash our hands. I remember one of the first days at Vanderbilt when Professor Rogers gave us a lecture about the expectations of clinical and lab and all our requirements. I remember she said, people ask me, what do you need to know to be a nurse? And I tell them everything. You need to know everything about everything to be a nurse. I laughed and enjoyed her lecture, and I am still realizing to this day that I do actually need to know everything about everything to be a nurse. Every time I get a text asking me about a rash my friend has, or when I have an NCLEX practice question that involves a man with a pacemaker falling on an anti-theft device, I realize this expectation is sort of overwhelming, and I wish I knew everything about everything, but I don't. And I never will. But the good news is that I don't think we could have been better prepared than we have been to embark on this adventure of nursing and lifelong learning. So over the next 45 minutes, I will... I can even get through that one. I'm not going to talk for 45 minutes. Somebody told me there were desserts after this. It worked the second time around in Norman. Last time it didn't work. Anyway, so let's move quickly. But really, I wanted to give everyone a snapshot of the life-shaping lessons of nursing school. We learned in N215 and N216, Foundations of Professional Nursing, about the challenge we have not only to be good nurses, but to advance and enhance this profession on a national scale through various avenues. This was also the class that birthed Sassy Fridays. For our family and friends, we are a sassy class, taught by sassy teachers. And one day we noticed that we were all particularly sassy on Fridays. And just to let everyone know, this is our last Sassy Friday together, which makes tonight even more special, if it could even get more special. In N225, Population-Based Healthcare, we had many lengthy and time-consuming projects that made us very good task jugglers. We also learned about different cultures and pronouns because we will get to take care of patients from literally all around the globe. In N217, we learned nothing. Just kidding. That was our research-based class, and we learned with many thorough and in-depth research assignments that healthcare is ever-changing. We will be challenged to continue to learn for the rest of our lives and to keep evidence-based practice near and dear to our hearts. In pharmacology, we learned that there is a pill for just about everything, but we were reminded that nursing is not just dispensing medication. In HEHI, we learned the multitude of diseases our patients could have, but we again were constantly reminded that we would be treating patients and not diseases. We had the privilege of being taught by many different talented faculty. We learned from Professor Einat that crazy is not a disease, it's a symptom. From Professor Baird, we learned always to check urine output and don't get sued. Professor Rogers taught us so many things with her endless enthusiasm that will make us all rock star nurses. Dr. Crow, I don't really know where to begin, but I have a whole new appreciation for sweater vests. Professor Sweeney, get him moving. That's all. That phrase will echo through the School of Nursing for all eternity. In Chemistry for Health Sciences, Biochem, and Microbiology, we learned about balancing equations, glycolysis, Gram stains, and the electron transport chain, which is information I have used every day since I finished that class. Very nice. But we did learn how to think on a cellular and abstract level, and we received invaluable and unforgettable advice from Dr. Smith. Maintain your joy, dispense hope, and treat patients, not diseases. In anatomy and physiology, we learned anything and everything you would want to know about the human body. We learned all of the bones, about the renin-angiotensin cycle, and I will know how it must contract whether I want to or not for the rest of my life. And we learned from Dr. Clayton herself that when you are passionate and enthusiastic about your job, and when you genuinely care about people, you will make a difference, you will change lives, and you will inspire the people around you to do the same. In Dr. Hicks and Professor Hicks' Nursing as a Kingdom Vocation class, we began to realize that nursing is a bigger responsibility than I thought. It is a profession in which we will be directly participating in the ministry of Jesus when we take care of the sick and are involved in people's lives during their most intimate and life-shaping moments. All of these nursing classes led us up to where our biggest adventures have come from, clinical, when Professor Jesse let us loose in the hospital. Again, the first day of clinical was another fish out of water experience. I was just glad that there was only one door to the patient's room. I remember standing dumbfounded outside a patient's room, too scared to even walk in the door and introduce myself. How hard do I knock? How many seconds will it take them to realize that I'm a doofus? Is the patient going to ask me if I'm 12 years old? But pretty soon I realized that they were always going to ask me if I was 12 years old. And actually lately I've been getting asked if I've been 16. So moving on up big time. We got to experience everything that we had been learning about in lecture and lab and out of textbooks. We learned how to think through situations, what to do, sometimes what not to do. We learned skills and organization. We saw some cool things and we smelled some bad smells. And day after day in the hospital, we learned a lot of monumental foundations of nursing. I think this was because clinical is when things really come to life. 3 big ideas came to mind and jumped out. Number 1, we began to learn what a nurse actually does. We had heard in lecture that nurses assess, teach, advocate, and reassess. Those words sound great, but clinical gave life and animation to those words. The more that I saw these things in action, the more excited I was to become a nurse. We began to realize how humbling of an experience working in a hospital is. Jennifer McMurtry's Facebook status said one day, "Surprise, Jen, you're in here." Every day in the hospital, it reaffirms my belief that our world could not survive without love. Professor Rogers would always tell us every patient encounter is a gift and a privilege. I believed it because Professor Rogers said it, but it wasn't until clinical that these words became real. And the third thing, we learned that when you encounter a situation that you think, this is the craziest easiest thing in the world. Just wait for tomorrow. This adventure and this profession involve so many things that sometimes it just gets outrageous. And every time I am in a crazy situation, I think, this is going to be a sweet career. If you would like to hear any stories about clinical, just ask any of us. We each have a million. I feel bad for my non-nursing friends because all I talk about is catheters and enemas and blood. So sorry, / you're welcome. So at the accumulation of the past 4 years, sometimes I think that I would be the perfect poster child for the American Heart Association, for one of those ads about staying healthy and staying out of the hospital. Because if I'm the future of nursing, you're going to want to stay out of the hospital. And other days, I feel really good about everything that I've learned. And we have a lot of people to thank for that. Thank you, Vanderbilt and Lipscomb. We are the last Lipscomb class to be part of the Vanderbilt-Lipscomb Nursing Partnership. Students in the new Lipscomb Nursing Program will have a wonderful nursing school adventure of their own. But it was an honor to have the partnership experience. Thank you, Vanderbilt, for having us, and thank you to Lipscomb for giving us a great first 5 semesters and always welcoming us back and helping us whenever we needed. We also have to give a huge thanks to our teachers and clinical instructors. I'll say it over and over again because it's so true. We had the privilege of being taught by some absolutely fantastic, encouraging, and enthusiastic professors. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for their patience and teaching. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for coming. It's really nice. And our families. Thank you guys so much. I know my parents have been absolutely amazing and supportive. And our grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, again, you all are so great. And thank you really isn't enough. So that's all I got. So like me a better later with desserts. And a big thanks to our non-nursing school friends. They listened to us complain about care plans enough, and they supplemented our education by sending us texts about rashes and gashes and sickness and, do you think I should go to the emergency rooms? And also, my classmates. My amazing classmates. Thank you guys so much. One thing everyone might not know is that we were the first and only class to be looped in with Vanderbilt graduate students. The Vanderbilt students are awesome. They are a dynamic group of 25 students from all over Tennessee and all over the country. Being in clinical and seminar groups with them tremendously enhanced our nursing school experience. Being friends with them tremendously enhanced our lives. You guys are awesome. It has been a pleasure learning with you, and it has been so helpful learning from you. We Lipscomb students are also cool. I'd like to recognize a couple of people that I think deserve to be recognized. I know I barely got through nursing school while I only had to take care of myself, but we had some classmates who also took care of their families. And Lori Rainey, Andy Reisner, and Stephen Davis, I'd like to personally commend you on behalf of the class. Your hard work and dedication to both the program and your families is inspiring. Sometimes I would walk into class feeling tired, and I would see Andy come in straight from night shift, and I thought, I can do this. And lots of our Vanderbilt students also had families, and I don't know how you guys did it, but again, wonderful. The rest of us, if not married, are engaged. 90% of us are actually engaged. Just kidding. It felt like that, though. Like every week, somebody else. So we do have quite a few people engaged. Julia, Louisa, Martha, Lakin, and Katie Carmen. Congratulations. Not only are these wonderful ladies starting a new career in nursing, but they are about to start a new lifelong journey in marriage as well, which is very exciting, and we wish you all the best. Also, while on the topic of engagement, she's going to be so embarrassed that I told people before her, but Lacey Cross is engaged. Just kidding. Sorry, Lacey. I had to do one Lacey joke. Lacey's not engaged. Lacey Cross has been an absolute trooper for the last 4 years dealing with me. Lacey's a wonderful and sassy young lady who has had the pleasure of driving me to school, waiting for me when I was late, reminding me of assignments as I often forgot them, and listening to my stories at least 50 times. She did this all while saying less than 15 words. Just kidding, big guys. Lacey also delegated a lot of this responsibility to Julia Roller and Anna Zeller over the past year and a half. So, shout out to you guys. And all of my classmates, you guys are wonderful. I could go on and on and on about stories involving all of you. What I learned, what you said that made me laugh, what you helped me with, and how I saw you help each other. But we have desserts to get to. Instead, I will conclude. As we ever so bittersweetly wrap up this crazy college adventure, we are about to start up an even bigger and crazier adventure in nursing. I'd like to share with you something that my mom and dad told me when I interviewed my mom for my practicing nurse interview paper. She said, "My advice to you is don't limit yourself. Look for every possible challenge to learn new skills and build confidence. Always try to learn the purpose behind what you're doing. Remember that nursing isn't a job, it's a mission. Serve people. Don't ever stop learning, and remember it's not the tasks you complete, it's the lives you touch. You'll touch lives every day." To which my dad added in, "Just be sure to wash your hands in between people you touch." I'd like to remind you of what Dr. Crow told us one time in an encouraging email. These people are probably experiencing the worst days of their lives. You are a bright spot for them. Just as our lives are touched for a brief moment, you touch their lives for a brief moment. Yet somehow, we change. They change. And we are all more empowered and more sure of our place. As I said once before, for me, it's about touching lives. Or what's the point of any of this? And lastly, I would like to leave you with a challenge. St. Catherine of Siena once said, "If you are who you should be, you'll set the whole world on fire." We are a talented group of people. We should be compassionate and knowledgeable individuals positively affecting people's lives every day. We should advance the profession of nursing. Some of us will be geniuses in nursing research. Some of us will be innovative leaders. I really see endless possibilities from our class. We should be a group of people that dramatically enhance the image of nursing, and I am so excited to see us light the world on fire. Congratulations, class of 2011. I am so proud and honored to have gone through this journey with all of you.